Hey guys, this is Inversify here, back at you with another Draft League video. It's been a fat minute since I've done one of these, but thought I'd bring it back for a little bit of a special league that I'm doing. Kind of branching out into a lot more of a little cup and a lot less of like normal draft league. So I joined APA Little Cup Wi-Fi season actually, and got our draft right here. I ended up taking over for somebody and made a couple changes to the team. Um, I'm pretty happy with how it is right now. Um, got some ons I definitely enjoy using, and pretty much we're just gonna see how we go. Took over a 1-1 team, so just gonna do our best and try and win as many games as we can. Hopefully make playoffs and see what happens from there. So without further ado, our Tier 1 Mon, Wingle, recently banned from Little, I guess not recently anymore, but it has been banned from like regular Little Cup. But this league does allow a lot of LC Ubermons like Wingle, and if you look over here, Trapinch. So Wingle, it's pretty good mon just because you can spam Scald and Hurricane. It's just generally pretty tough to switch into. It's got a great speed tier, hitting 19 speed. Some nice utility moves like Knock Off, Defog. Um, you know, it's just a nice all-around mon. Um, and it also gets U-turn, so you can U-turn out of your checks, get a little bit of chip on them, get some momentum. It's nice. And yeah, moving on to the next mon. One of my favorites, little cup mons to use, Bunnelby. With huge power, this thing incredibly strong. It's got pretty much all the coverage it needs with like Earthquake, Stone Edge, Thief. I don't really see. I guess you can run Iron Head too for a random rock type. But yeah, also has U-turn for momentum purposes. Runs a great Scarf set. Runs a great Life Orb wall breaking set, and it just also brings some really strong priority, which is nice for revenge killing weakened mons. So can even run set its own spikes, but probably not going to be seeing me bring spikes Bunnelby this season, unfortunately. And the next mon we have Sandshrew Lola. Got a little bit of hail here. So yeah, there's not too much to say about this mon. It's kind of just like they took Sandshrew and made it good, made it ice type. Ice Steel, pretty good coverage. Kind of lacking on the steel and water types. Does get Earthquake and Brick Break and the like for steel types, but water types, it's a bit of an L. But it also does provide some nice coverage or utility, not coverage, with stuff like Knockoff, Stealth Rock, and Rapid Spin, which are all nice moves to have if you want to go for a more utility-based Sandshrew Lola. One thing that a little bit of a weakness here, definitely very weak to things like Mach Punch's Vacuum Wave, and the same is said for Bunnelby, which is like a little bit of a problem, but moving on to the next mon, we got a nice fighting check here, just because it has a great defense stat. It's bug poison, so yeah, we got a Skorupi, who's pretty much the claim to fame is just being a fast utility mon with stuff like knockoff, toxic spikes, taunt. Um, yeah, it's got like some pretty decent coverage too, but that's pretty much what it does. It sets up toxic spikes, taunts you. Guess you can run some SD shenanigans if you want. Doesn't it get Fell Stinger too? I think it does. Oh, it does. So definitely could run some shenanigans on this, but mostly just a T-Spiker, which is definitely can be nice in some matchups. Next we got Alolan Geodude, a nice unique typing. Another one of my favorite mons to use. Three great abilities here, but kind of the downside of it is like you only get to use one of them. So you can trap steel types for mons like Wingle with the flying stab, um, Bunnelby with the normal stab, and Sandshrew Alola. All of these don't particularly love steel types, so can kind of trap and kill some of them. Like, for example, Pharaoh Seed, you could trap that, and because it gets Fire Punch or Fire Blast if you really wanted. Um, so that's nice, and a lot of these, like, are at least Bunnelby and Winkle, they do get U-turn, so you can actually U-turn as they bring in their steel, and then boom, trap it right away. Next up, we got our Tier 4 Mon. So, like, I mean, just a quick word about Tier 4. It's full of pretty much garbage Mons, mostly. But they also have my love Zubat in there. But, yeah, so Beldum literally has 6 attacks. And, like, one of them's fucking hold back, which I'm never going to run. Unless I run some nice hold back Beldum into Fell Stinger Skorupi shenanigans. That would be that would be quite the combo right there. But yeah, I guess it's kind of a flying check and a psychic check. I don't know. It's not a good mon, but it's tier 4, so who cares really? Next we have Amara, so it can set the snow for or the hail for Sandshrew Alola. Gives me another stealth rocker. And yeah, it just has some really nice coverage actually. Um, and its stab moves are really good too. Except the best rock stab it gets on the special side is Ancient Power. So pretty terrible rock stab there, but thankfully Ice is just really good. And for a lot of the water types, I want to be switching in. Probably don't want to be switching into either a Freeze Dry or a Thunderbolt from this thing, especially because their water type is probably going to be the one that's checking the Sandshrew Alola. And next we have Trapinch, another Bandmon in LC. Pretty much just like you can trap and kill whatever you need to, whatever you don't like on the enemy team, as long as it's not a ghost type, flying type, or has U-turn. Then yeah, you trap and kill it. Though it is like really slow and not that bulky, so pretty much limited to trapping one thing. But here's another mon where it's nice to have some of this momentum. Obviously, also pretty good at trapping steel types, and just like in general checks for things like Bunnelby and Wingle, where they can U-turn out of a bad matchup and into Trapinch, and Trapinch can go ahead and remove the mon. Next up, we have fun mon to use, Krabby. Get a nice sheer force liquidation in here, especially with a life orb that's going to be doing a ton of damage. It's kind of the main wall breaker alongside Bunnelby here. But yeah, pretty much just Scarf or Life Orb, which is nice too because like there's a 2 item limit for this league, so you can only run 2 Eviolites, you can only run 2 Berry Juices. So having a mon that doesn't really need to run those items is nice because it frees up your other mons, like for example Trapinch to run Eviolite. Because it really wants to run a Violite so it can actually take a hit before going for one itself. Kind of the downside to Krabby is like doesn't have a ton of moves that take advantage of sheer force. Pretty much Rock Slide and like Body Slam. Like that's how sad it is. It has to use Body Slam for coverage. Um, but yeah, at least it gets knockoff, Superpower, X Scissor. They don't use sheer force, but they're still nice coverage moves to have. But yeah, it's just a fun mon to use, in my opinion. And lastly, we have the Shroomish, pretty much here to be really annoying. Put something to sleep with Spore, which can give me some nice possibly setup opportunities with something like agility, Bunnelby, or Krabby, and then try and go for a sweep, or just generally make it a 5v6. Although the problem with Shroomish is it's so bad that it's like basically becomes a 5v5 when you spore something, because like once you spore something it's not very useful at all. Although it's kind of a nice ground check, which is nice with a lot of ground weaknesses on my team. One of the main like other resistances being Wingle, who's obviously not very reliable as a ground type check, being so frail. But yeah, pretty shit move pool. But at least we get the spore, and therefore it's actually kind of useful. So I'll be hitting you up with my week 3 prep and game probably pretty soon, depending on when I get a chance to record it. But yeah, peace.